2021年6月，我们又荣幸的邀请到了圣巴比威的门大师那辛哈斯瓦玛拉给我们讲解今天的大佛加晚餐早课，敬请聆听。Hare
Krishna。Hare Krishna。Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaihevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're recounting the travels of a cowherd boy from Govardhan named Gopakumar, and we heard how he's telling about his travels to a brahmana from Mathura.
我们一直在讲述的是勾尔丹山的一个牧牛童 Gopakumar 的历程。上次呢，我们讲到了他遇到了一位来自 Mathura 的婆罗门。
And Gopakumar is telling the Mathura Brahmin about the importance of association, how association can help us to advance very quickly.
Gopakumar 就对他说起了联谊的重要性。联谊可以帮助我们飞速的取得进步。
So there are many different kinds of devotees, Vaishnavas, but the best of the devotees, they will worship the Lord in the form of Krishna.
有各式各样的 Vaishnava 主的奉献者，但是最好的是主 Krishna 的奉献者。
And it is said that the holy name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. The holy name of Krishna is not different from Krishna.
又说到了主 Krishna 的圣名跟 Krishna 本人是没有区别的。
And even one may chant the name, may say the name of Krishna unintentionally, but still it will have a purifying effect.
即便一个人是无意识地说出了 Krishna 的圣名，也具有净化的效果。
It can destroy a lot of sins just by chanting his name.
只是通过唱诵 Krishna 的名字，就能摧毁很多的罪孽。
So in Vrindavan, which is Krishna's own abode, Krishna's devotees always keep Krishna in their heart and they will never let him leave.
在 Krishna 本人的居所 Vrindavan， 他的奉献者们总是把 Krishna 放在他们的内心深处，不让他离开。
Now in the kaliyuga, it's very rare that you find people with good qualities.
在卡里年代，能找到一个拥有优秀品质的人，那是太罕见的事儿了。
Just like you never see many lions together in one place, so you never see many devotees.
就好像在一个地方不可能看见一群狮子， 所以同样的道理，你不可能见到许多的奉献者。
There's a statement by the goddess of the deity of the earth, Mother Bhumi, and she says that pure devotees are very rare in this world.
这个地球地球的神祇乌米女神，她说，在这个世界上非常能罕见一位纯粹的奉献者。
And there was a great king called Maharaj Nimi. Maharaj Nimi was a king who got a lot of mercy from different devotees who preached to him. So Maharaj Nimi says that for the conditioned soul, the human body is very rare to get a human birth.
曾经有一位伟大的国王叫尼米国王，他得到了许多奉献者的仁慈。他说了这样一句话：在就是受条件限制的灵魂，非常罕见能获得人体的生命。
But even though we may get the human form of life, we can lose it at any moment.
而且，即便获得了人体生命，也可以随时就失去这人体生命。
But those who've got the human life, they very rarely get the association of pure devotees.
在那些能获得人体生命的灵魂，在这样的生物当中呢，要想获得一位纯粹奉献者的联谊，那就是少之又少，太罕见的一件事儿。
Yeah, pure devotees are very dear to Lord Krishna.
主 Krishna 极其喜爱这样一位纯粹的奉献者。
So pure devotees are very rare because devotion for Krishna only comes in a person who has got rid of all of his sinful reactions.
因为只有当一个人他去除了他所有的罪恶反应的时候，才能够获得对主 Krishna 的奉爱。
And he should have acted he must act very piously.
而这样一个人呢，他必须要行为虔诚。
Of course, this is described in the Bhagavad Gita in the 7th chapter, Lord Krishna says there, Yesham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmana tidanvan moha nirmukta vajanti mam drida vritaha. That persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are destroyed, they're freed from the duality of delusion, and they engage in my service with determination.
这个诗节的大意就是，一个人他前世今生行为虔诚，去除了一切的罪恶反应，然后这样的一个人可以去除幻象的二元性，以坚定的决心从事于对我的奉爱服务。
So if we want to get devotional service to Krishna, there are many things we have to do. One of them is we have to do charity. We have to give charity, and we have to follow strict vows, and we have to practice some austerity.
那怎么才能获得对主 Krishna 的奉爱之情呢？一个人必须要从事于布施，并且要严格遵守誓言，他还要进行苦行。
And we have to chant japa, and we have to read the Vedic scriptures, and we have to follow regulative principles.
我们必须要念诵扎帕，阅读韦达经，遵守规范原则。
There are many auspicious activities which we have to do in order to come to devotional service.
为了来到奉爱服务的层面，我们必须要从事许许多多的吉祥的活动。
So it says in this one scripture, it says that if somebody gets rid of all of their sins by many, many lifetimes of doing austerity and knowledge, then he can develop devotion for Krishna.
在一个经典当中就说到了，如果一个人通过从事苦行，去除了他生生世世积累的罪孽反应，这样一个人可以透过知识发展出对主的奉爱。
So we can understand from these statements in the scriptures that if somebody has no devotion for Krishna, he must be sinful.
那从这样的经典当中的声明，我们就可以断定出，倘若一个人并没有发展出奉爱之情的话，他一定现在还身上沾染着罪恶活动。
And some people they get knowledge but they're looking. Some people they want impersonal liberation. They don't want bhakti.
有些人他已经有知识了，但是这样的人呢，他们的目标并不是bhakti奉爱，他们想要的是非人格的解脱。
They read books like the Yoga Vasishta, and there it's full of impersonalism.
他们阅读像 Yoga Vasishta 这样的经典，然后他们就沉溺于这个非人格主义的概念当中。
And there they talk about austerity and knowledge and samadhi. They talk about these things as being the end of. They say that's the goal of bhakti.
他们口中呢，就是就是一直在谈论着有关于苦行啊，要积累知识啊，或者是进入到 samadhi 神定的状态啊。他们的目标就是在此，他们说这个就是 bhakti 的目标。
But knowledge is secondary, it's subordinate to bhakti.
但是呢，知识它从属于 bhakti 奉爱。
But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes knowledge, Buddhi Yoga. He says this is a means to getting pure devotion to him.
在佛家梵歌当中，主说，知识 Buddhi Yoga 是获得对他的奉爱的方法和手段。
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvikam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to me and worship me with love, I give the understanding, the knowledge by which they can come to me.
对于那些怀着奉爱之情崇拜我的人，我给予他们理解力，使他们能够来到我跟前。
And then Krishna also says in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that if one knows, if he's come to the level of Brahman and he's not hankering and lamenting for anything, and if he sees everyone equally, then he also gets pure devotion to Krishna.
在《佛家梵歌》的第18章，主说，当一个上升到 Brahman 层面的人，他既不悲伤，也不渴求，他对众生都一视同仁，这样的人可以获得对他的纯粹奉爱。
And in the 18th chapter, Krishna also says that he can only be understood by devotional service.
在《佛家梵歌》第18章，主说， 只有透过纯粹的奉献服务，才能够理解它。
And when we're in full consciousness of Krishna, then we can enter into the kingdom of God.
当我们完全知觉到 Krishna 的时候，就能够进入到神的王国。
So Krishna makes a distinction between jnana, knowledge, and bhakti, devotion.
主 Krishna 他就区分了 Jnana 知识和 Bhakti 奉爱二者的区别。
And devotees also make a distinction between jnana and bhakti.
奉献者们他们也区分 Jnana 知识以及 Bhakti 的奉爱。
So we can understand the impersonalists, they're not as advanced as the devotees of Krishna.
如此一来，我们就能够明白，非人格主义者并不像主 Krishna 的奉献者那么进步。
Devotees are always engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. And they can overcome all kinds of desires, all kinds of material desires.
奉献者从事于为主 Krishna 的莲花族做奉爱服务，他们征服了一切物质欲望。
But those people who are jnanis and yogis, they're always trying to stop their desires for sense gratification, but they cannot do it.
而那些 Jnani、思辨家以及 Yogi 瑜伽师们，他们想方设法想要停止感官享乐，但是却无济于事。
So everyone's advised to engage in devotional service of Krishna.
因此，就给每个人建议要从事于对主 Krishna 的奉献服务。
So Krishna's energies are all part of his, Krishna's different energies are just his expansions for his enjoyment, for his pleasure.
Krishna 的不同能量，都是他的能量扩展，目的就是为了使 Krishna 能进行享受。
Hare Krishna. But the devotees, they're attracted to serving Krishna by hearing and chanting.
但是奉献者们，他们透过聆听唱诵，深深的就被 Krishna 所吸引了。
Devotee likes to hear about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, as well as in his other places like Dwarka, Mathura.
奉献者们就喜爱聆听 Krishna 在 Vrindavan 或者是 Dwarka、Mathura 这些地方上演的消时光。
Lord Kapila also told his mother about different processes, different progression, about different varieties of sadhana, so that she can advance back to Godhead.
主 Kapila Dev 也向他的母亲阐释了不同的 sadhana 的方法，规范修行的方法。好让自己的母亲能够在灵修的路途上稳步迈进。
And he told her the most important is to hear about the pastimes of Krishna in the land of Vaikuntha. Oh no, not in the land of Vaikuntha. Hear about the pastimes of Krishna. Just to hear about the pastimes of Krishna.
Kapila Dev 告诉母亲，最重要的是要聆听主 Krishna 的消时光。
So the activity of devotional service to Krishna is an act of great pleasure for the devotees.
所以对主 Krishna 所从事的种种活动，对奉献者来说都是一种享受。
Just like taking Krishna's prasadam and dancing and singing and doing other services for Krishna.
荣耀 Prasad 唱歌、跳舞，以及从事于对 Krishna 的种种服务。
So by doing these things, we get free from the material world. We get rid of our material attachments.
通过这些活动，一个人就能够摆脱物质世界的束缚，摆脱对物质的依恋。
Mayavadi sannyasis, they try to control their senses, but they never get free from their karma.
玛嘎里散加西那些假象中的托钵僧们，他们努力试图控制感官，但是他们无法摆脱业报反应。
They cannot get rid of all their material desires.
他们也无法去除掉他们物质的欲望。
The senses, the desires of the senses are like a great river, like the Ganges, which never stops flowing.
感官享乐的欲望就好像恒河，永远，它的河水是永不停息的在流淌着。
To get rid of material desires, we need to get Krishna's special protection.
想要获得物质欲望，对不起，一个人必须要得到主Krishna特殊的仁慈，才能够驱除所有的欲望，物质欲望。
And we get that protection by engaging in Krishna's pure devotional service.
当一个人从事于对主Krishna的纯粹奉献服务的时候，就获得了保护。
But the Mayavadi sannyasis, impersonalist sannyasis, they cannot get rid of their material desires.
然而那些假象中的托钵僧们，他们可是无法去除掉自己的欲望。
When Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, at that time the demigods prayed to Krishna.
当主Krishna在Devaki 母亲的子宫当中的时候，半神人就前来向主Krishna 献上祈祷。
And they said to Krishna, the demigods said to Krishna, that if devotees who are in love with you, they may sometimes fall down from the path of devotion, but they do not fall like a non-devotee.
半神人们的祈祷如下：倘若爱您的奉献者们有时候堕落了，从奉爱的道路上堕落，他们的堕落并不像那些非奉献者的堕落。
So the point is, even somebody may be a pure devotee, they may fall down, but they won't fall like the non-devotees.
所以这里说的要点就是，有时候纯粹奉献者也许堕落，但是他们的堕落可不像非奉献者的堕落那样。
And the saintly acharyas, they say that actually a pure devotee will never fall down.
而那些圣洁的Acharya先辈灵性导师们说，实际上纯粹奉献者是永远不会堕落的。
Yeah, they're very elevated devotees. They're very fixed in their relationship with Krishna, and they never fall into illusion under any circumstance.
他们地位崇高至极，而且他们稳处在与 Krishna 的关系当中，他们永远不会堕入到在任何情况下都不会陷入幻觉当中。
So the impersonalists, they are thinking of the Supreme as a void or without any material form.
格主义者们认为，至尊绝对真理是虚无，没有任何物质形象。
So Krishna reciprocates with them because they want to see the Lord in that way, so he arranges for that to happen.
主 Krishna 也会回报这样的非人格主义者，因为他们希望以这种方式来看见主，所以主就做出安排。
And an example was given. It says the example is just like in ether. The ether has no qualities that we can see. So the same way, the Lord, they say that the same way the Lord also is like a void, because there's no qualities. We can't see any material qualities.
有一个例子就是，在以太当中呢，是没有任何可见的品质，所以呢，他们就这样，他们看主就是虚无的，没有任何的物质的品质。
So this is the impersonalist conception, and this is not correct.
所以这是非人格主义者们他们的概念是不对的、不正确的。
Yeah, because they don't understand actual self-realization by the path of devotion.
他们并不明白，自我觉悟的真正道路，他们并不明白奉爱为何物。
So only the Vaishnavas are actually really devotees, and all the other people, they're not really devotees.
所以只有 Vaishnava 们，他们才可以称之为奉献者，而别的人不能称之为真正的奉献者。
So everyone is advised they should worship Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, and take shelter of Krishna.
所以人人都被建议要去崇拜 Vasudeva 的儿子 Krishna， 要托庇于 Krishna。
And if we don't take the shelter of Krishna and his protection, then we're not really devotees.
如果我们不去托庇于 Krishna， 也不去寻求 Krishna 的保护的话，我们就不是奉献者。
And if we don't have any shelter, then we're just like an orphan who has no mother or father.
如果我们没有任何庇护所的话，我们就像没有父母的孤儿一样可怜。
But the devotees are under Krishna's protection. They are not afraid of anything.
然而，奉献者们他们是处在 Krishna 的保护之下，所以他们内心是无惧无畏的。
So they can use their senses in the service of Krishna, and in this way they get liberation from the material world.
他们以这种方式呢，他们运用自己的感官来服务 Krishna， 所以就能够从物质世界当中解脱。
And they get more and more pleasure at every moment from their devotional service.
而且他们从做奉爱服务当中呢，时时刻刻他们的快乐都在增长。
Even those people who are just liberated, they can never know such pleasure what the devotee experiences.
即便是那些已经获得了解脱的人们，他们也无法去理解奉献者们的体验是什么。
Mayavadi sannyasis, they can get freed from the ocean of birth and death only after a long time.
假象中的托钵僧们，只有经历很长很长时间之后，才能够摆脱生死之殃。
They have to endeavor very hard to get free of birth and death, but the devotees very easily get free.
他们 为了摆脱生死，必须付出艰苦卓绝的努力，但是奉献者们却能轻而易举的就能超越生死。
The devotees pray to Krishna. They pray that the lotus feet of the Lord are like an umbrella for the surrendered souls.
奉献者们向主献上祈祷，他们说主的莲花足对于臣服的灵魂就像一把伞，
Protects them from the miseries of material existence.
保护他们能够，保护他们免于物质存在的痛苦。
So all the devotees who are under the lotus feet of the Lord, they easily get rid of all the material miseries.
所有处在主莲花足下的奉献者们，他们都能很轻而易举地去除物质存在的痛苦。
So we always offer our obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord.
因此，我们都恒常地顶拜主的莲花足。
Any devotee who takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, then he is more elevated than any ordinary sannyasi or sage.
任何托庇于主莲花足的奉献者们，都比其他的sannyasi、托钵僧或者其他的圣人都要更为进步。
These devotees, they don't depend on anything else. They only depend on the lotus feet of the Lord.
这样的奉献者，他们并不依赖任何其他的事物，他们只依赖于主的莲花足。
But the Mayavadi sannyasis, they give up their families and they change their dress and they renounce materialistic life.
假象中的托钵僧们，他们抛妻弃子，放弃了家庭，也改变了自己的服装，他们弃绝物质生活。
And when they come to the idea of pure consciousness, they think themselves to be God. They think their goal is that pure consciousness means to become the Supreme.
当他们接触到纯粹知觉的概念的时候呢，他们就认为自己就是神了。他们认为纯粹的知觉就是自己就成为了神。
So they think that anything except themselves, anything except their own selves is illusion, is maya. Only they are the truth. Only they are the reality.
他们认为除了他们自己之外的任何其他事物都是幻象，只有他们自己才是真理。
So this is called the Advaita Vedanta philosophy. Advaita Vedanta philosophy.
这就称为是Advaita Vedanta 哲学。
So these people, they call themselves sannyasis or yatis. Yati means a renunciate.
这样的人，他们自诩为托钵僧和雅体就是弃绝者。
But they're different, very different from the devotees who follow the Bhagavatam.
但是他们和遵循佛家法坛的奉献者们有着天壤之别。
So these Advaita, the people who follow the Advaita Vada, these sannyasis, they're not actually free from their past or even their present sins.
所以这些追随Advaita Vada的人们，非二元性的哲理的人们，他们甚至自己都不能摆脱过往的以及目前的karma火爆活动的结果。
And their hearts are not free of the desire for sense gratification.
而且他们内心也不能摆脱感官享乐的愿望。
But they think themselves as being very learned.
但是他们却自以为自己学识渊博。
Personal character. So that their personal character is just like that of the enemies of Vishnu and his devotees.
Their personal， 和他们的人品呢，就好像主威神的敌人。
Yeah. The demigods prayed to Krishna when he was in the womb. They prayed to Krishna that non-devotees may do great austerities and penance, and they want to get the highest position, which they think to be liberation.
拜神人们对主 Krishna 对在子宫当中的主 Krishna 祈祷说，那些非奉献者们，他们从事苦行忏悔，他们想要获得很高的地位，达到解脱。
But their intelligence is still impure, and the result is that they fall down from their so-called position of liberation, because they never took shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna.
然而，他们的智慧并没有得到净化，他们会从他们解脱了的崇高地位上再次堕落，因为他们并不去托庇于主 Krishna 的莲花足。
And the personified Vedas, they also pray that these people in the renounced order who fall, that if they don't get rid of their material desires, then their hearts will always be impure.
韦达经的人格化身向主祈祷说，那些所谓的弃绝了的人们，他们并没有净化掉他们的物质欲望，他们的内心仍然是不洁的。
So Krishna never allows these people to understand him.
所以 Krishna 就不允许这些人去能够理解他。
So although you're within their heart, you're just like a jewel which is worn around the neck of a man who has forgotten that the jewel is there.
尽管您就在他们的心中，但是这就好比一个脖子上戴着一串珍珠项链的男子，他忘记了自己已经戴着一串珍珠项链。
And if somebody practices yoga just for his own sense gratification, then he will suffer. He will suffer. He will get punished in this life and in the next.
而那些为了自己的感官享乐练习瑜伽的人们，他们会受苦，他们会在此生以及来世遭受惩罚。
And the punishment they will get get death, and they will not get free of birth and death. They'll have to remain in the material world.
他们的惩罚是什么呢？就是死亡。他们不能免除生死，他们必须要再次在物质世界当中再次投生。
They can never go to the spiritual world.
他们永远无法回到灵性世界。
So when an ignorant person, he may say everything is Brahman, but the result is that he just becomes entangled in the hellish life.
无知之人可能宣称一切都是 Brahman， 一切都是饭，但是他们会让自己卷入到物质生活的束缚当中。
So if a person if he's in his mind, if he's always thinking about sense enjoyment, but he says, I am Brahman, then that person will burn in hell for 10 billion days of Brahma.
倘若一个人他的心意当中仍然念念不忘，仍然还想着感官享乐的话，并且他还自称是Brahman， 他自称我是 Brahman， 这样一个人会在主 Brahma 会遭受主 Brahma 的100亿天的这个地狱的生活。
And we know Brahma's day, one day of Brahma is 1,000 ages taken together, right? 1,000 ages, 1,000 cycles of the 4 yugas. That's one day of Brahma.
我们知道主 Brahma 的一天是4个年代之和乘以1000，这个是主 Brahma 的一个白天。
In other words, a very, very long time.
换言之，就是这个时间是非常非常漫长的。
So this Brahmana from Mathura, who is being told all of this, he's very ignorant about the glories of devotional service. He didn't know about devotional service.
所以这位Mathura 的 Brahmana，他是非常无知的，他并不了解奉爱服务的荣耀。
But now he's met this cowherd boy from Govardhan, and this cowherd boy has told him everything about devotional service. So this cowherd boy is actually his spiritual master.
但是他现在得以遇见这位来自于勾尔丹山的牧牛童，对他讲述了有关于奉献服务，所以这位勾尔丹山的牧牛童就成为了他的灵性导师了。
So this Mathura Brahman is actually successful, and he can understand his spiritual identity.
所以这位Mathura的 Brahmana， 他现在大功告成了，他能明白自己的灵性身份为何。
Others, in order to realize spiritual identity, other people may have to spend a long time and make great efforts. But this Mathura Brahman, by the association of the cowherd boy from Govardhan, he could immediately understand.
别的人要想理解他们各自的灵性身份，是需要花很长很长的时间，并且付出艰苦的努力。但是这位来自于 Mathura 的 Brahmana， 仅仅是通过与勾尔丹山的一个牧牛童的联谊，就立即明白到自己的灵性身份了。
So, in this book, Brhad Bhagavatamrta, all different kinds of spiritual practice have been explained.
所以在这部《大国家瓦唐甘露》这本书当中，就阐释了不同的灵修道路。
Only thing he didn't explain was the power of devotee association. Devotee association is very secret.
唯一没有谈到的就是纯粹奉献者的联谊。The only thing the book didn't mention is the association of devotees.
Yeah, right.
唯一没有提到的就是奉献者的联谊。因为这个奉献者联谊，这是最机密的话题。
But association with devotees is essential to get to the goal of bhakti.
但是奉献者的联谊是获得 bhakti 的至关重要的一个环节。
And it's the best means of getting there.
而且是达到目的的最好的方法。
So hearing all of this, the Brahmana was in an ocean of pure. He was in the ocean of pure love. He was tasting pure love for Krishna.
听到这一席话，这位 Brahmana 他自己就陷入了对 Krishna 的纯粹的海洋。
And his whole body was filled with symptoms of love. and he cried out to Krishna, "Oh Krishna, Krishna, please show yourself."
此时呢，他的身体就展现出了神爱的外在，神爱的各种各样的真厚。他呼唤道：“哦 ，Krishna Krishna， 请展示你自己吧。”
And he took a blade of grass between his teeth, and he bowed down, and he cried at the feet of this cowherd boy.
他从地上捡起一根干草，衔在自己的口中，他致以顶拜，并且哭喊道：“向这位来自狗尔丹山的这位牧牛童就开始哭泣。”
And he cried to him, he said, "Where is Krishna? Have you seen him here?"
然后他就对这位狗尔丹山的牧牛童哭喊道 ：“Krishna 在哪里？你在这里看见他了吗？”
So the Brahmana held the feet of the cowherd boy, and the Brahmana saw that his guru was also drowning in the ocean of love, and he'd lost also control of himself.
这位 Brahmana 就握住了来自狗尔丹山的这位牧牛童的莲花足，就看到他自己的咕噜也淹没在神爱的海洋当中，失去了自控。
So the cowherd boy was already always in the ocean of Krishna Prem. And when he saw that this disciple was also becoming Krishna conscious and developing love for Krishna, then it increased his own ecstasy.
这位狗尔丹山的牧牛童，他总是沉浸在 Krishna Prem 对 Krishna 的神爱的海洋当中。当他看到自己的门徒现在也拥有 Krishna 之觉，发展出对 Krishna 的爱，他自己的狂喜也随之增加了。
So both the spiritual master and the disciple, they were both experiencing this ecstasy of Krishna Prem.
无论是灵性导师还是门徒，他们两个人都在体验到 Krishna Prem 对 Krishna 的爱的狂喜当中。
But then the Mathura Brahman, he got up and he went to wander in the forest, and he was wandering in the forest nearby, and he fainted and fell into all these thorns.
这位 Mathura 的 Brahmana 此时此刻就站起身来，就在附近的森林当中四处漫游。他昏过去了，他就倒在了一片布满荆棘的灌木丛上。
Then all of a sudden, from a distance, they could hear the sound of people playing flutes and blowing horns, and they could hear the sound of the cows and the sound of venas and whistles.
这时候从远处就突然传来笛子的声音，传来这个水牛角的号角声，也传来母牛的鸣叫声，并且能够隐隐约约听到维纳琴的声音，还听到这些哨声。
So when the spiritual teacher and the disciple heard these sounds, then they went running in the direction of the sounds, and they saw Gopal Krishna was there, and his body was very dark and very beautiful, and there was a brilliant effulgence around him.
然后灵性导师，当他听见了这个声音之后，他们俩都朝着这个声音奔跑过去。 看见了 Gopa Krishna， 看到了他的美丽的身姿，看到他的深蓝色的肤色，他浑身绽放着光彩。
Krishna had come there with all of the cows and with all of the friends, the cowherd boys, they'd all come to play in the Yamuna and for the cows to drink the water from the Yamuna.
Krishna 就带着他的母牛和他的朋友们，他们就一起赶着母牛来到雅穆纳河边，让母牛在其中喝水。
And they could see Krishna dancing as he was coming. He was like he was like in a very playful way. Krishna was walking.
他们看见主 Krishna 一边走着一边跳着舞，他的行走的步伐就是非常顽皮。
So Krishna coming to the Yamuna had more than one purpose in mind. He wanted to let his cows and the animals drink the water from the Yamuna, and he also wanted to play with the cowherd boys in the water. And he also wanted to meet the gopis.
主 Krishna 来到雅穆纳河，他心里头是有自己的目的的。他希望，这些母牛和动物们都来喝饮雅穆纳的河水。他也想和那些牧牛童们，在雅穆纳河里玩水。他还想遇见Gopi牧牛姑娘们。
The gopis, they were going later. After some time, the gopis are going to take Krishna across the river in a boat, and Krishna and his friends. They were coming, they were just throwing balls and imitating the forest animals and playing different ways. But Krishna's really going to come to be with the gopis, and the gopis will take Krishna across the river to the other side.
那些Gopi牧牛姑娘会随后就来到这里，带着 Krishna。上船到河的对面去，然后 Krishna 呢，他就和朋友一起扔着球玩游戏，他们在模仿着各种动物的姿势，他们在那里玩耍着，但主要的呢，就是 Krishna 来这里呢，就是 Gopi 们要带 Krishna 坐着船到河对面去。
So Krishna's very special quality, attractive feature was his very special youth.
Krishna 的独一无二的品质，并且吸引人的品质，就是他是风华正茂、青春年少。
But he's also filled with so much beauty. He's very, very attractive.
不仅如此。Krishna 他相貌英俊，非常非常吸引人。
And everybody was charmed and attracted by his beauty and by his wonderful qualities.
所有的生物都被他迷住了，都被他主 Krishna 深深的吸引住，被他美好的品质深深迷住了。
He brought great pleasure to everyone's mind and their eyes.
也给他们的心意，给他们的双眼，就带来了巨大的快乐。
And there were auspicious marks on his body, his beautiful body, and there was a garland of kadamba flowers around his neck.
主 Krishna 的身上有着吉祥的美丽的标记，他颈戴美丽的卡丹巴花环。
And a peacock feather in his hair.
他头插孔雀羽毛。
And a string of pearls around his neck.
项戴一串珍珠项链。
And he wore this yellow cloth which was very brilliant, very attractive.
他身上黄色的衣衫绽放着熠熠光彩，吸引着人们。
So in the scriptures it said, somebody is a great personality, you'll see 32 different ways in which you can recognize them in their bodily features.
在经典中就描述说，一个伟人的身上呢，他身上就有着32种迹象，你可以认出这样一个人他是伟人。
5 parts of his body are tender.
有5处精细。
5 parts of his body are long.
5处修长。
And 7 parts are red.
有7处是微微泛着红光。
6 are high.
有6处隆起。
3 are short.
有3处短小。
3 are broad.
有3处是宽阔。
And 3 deep.
还有3处是深沉。
So this is describing about a Mahapurush, a great soul, how his body has all these special features.
这就是一位马哈普入士，伟大灵魂，他特殊的真相。
So the tender part of his body are his skin and his teeth and his finger joints and the hair on the head and the hair on the body.
5处精细就是他的皮肤、牙齿、手的关节、头发以及身上的毛发。
And the long parts of the body are the nose, the chin, the eyes, arms, and knees.
5处修长是指的他的鼻子、下巴、双眼、手臂，以及他的膝盖、腿部。
And then the 7 red parts are the nails and the tongue and the upper and lower lips.
有7处泛红的地方是它的指甲、舌头、上下唇。
And then the edges of the eyes and the surface of the feet and hands.
以及它的眼睛的宽度，以及它的足和它的手都是修长的。
And then the 6 high parts are the nose, the mouth, and the nails.
还有6处隆起的是指它的鼻子是隆起的，它的嘴部还有它的指甲。
And then the chest and the waist and the shoulders.
胸部宽阔，它的腰部宽阔，
And the
还有它的肩膀宽阔。
And the short parts are the neck, the ankle, and the genitals.
3处短小是它的颈部、脚踝、生殖器。
And the 3 broad parts are the waist, the chest, and the forehead.
还有3处宽阔是指它的胸膛宽阔、腰部宽阔，还有它的头，还有它额头宽阔。
And the 3 deep parts are the navel, the voice, and the intelligence.
还有它3处是深沉的， 是他的肚脐它是非常往里凹陷的，它的声音是深沉的，它的智性是宽广深厚的。
So Krishna has all these parts on his body.
Krishna 他身上拥有这32种吉祥的标志。
Okay, we will stop here.
好，我们讲课部分就停在这里。我们来看一下问题。第一个问题是 Sati Dasi Hare Krishna 顶拜 Guru Maharaj 顶拜所有奉献者，顶拜 Sati。近期有奉献者反映，有一些奉献者在参与推广一个叫乾坤易道的课程，通过一种耳机聆听课程提升能量、净化磁场，达到治疗、恢复视力、身心灵疗愈的目的。一些新奉献者在奉献者社团内推广，同时赚钱，也有修习多年的奉献者参与。有的奉献者受到打扰，请问 Guru Dev， 当奉献者遇到这种情况应该如何面对？为什么有的修习多年的老奉献者还会被这些活动吸引？So Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept so Maharaj, first I want to explain this project because first I will translate Sati's words. Recently, some devotees said that there are some devotees they participate in a course called 乾坤易道. They use some headset earphone to elevate the energy and purify the atmosphere, either atmosphere, so to cure their eyesight and also to cure their body, mind, and soul. Some new devotees they promote this program at the same time, and they earn some money among devotee community. Some senior devotee who practice many years also participate in this program, and they pay money and to do the course. And some devotee, their mind are disturbed. So Gurudev, when devotee met these circumstances, how can they can they face this kind of situation? Why some devotees they practice many years, they still are attracted by this service?
Yes.
So,
yeah, it's not very
so
good. It's not very good that people go into these kind of things. This is of course this is not a spiritual program. It's a material program.
这个奉献者们参加这样的项目不好，这个不是灵性的，不是灵性的一个项目，而是物质的项目。
You cannot expect to go back to Godhead through this process, through that process.
不能指望通过这种方法回归神手。
As you say, they pay money. It's a business. They're doing some business for some purpose. Somebody's making some money out of it. Some people, they're getting some temporary benefit.
因为呢，他们就是有涉及到钱财，所以呢，这是一种生意。他们获得的好处会获得短暂的好处。
So sometimes devotees, people have been a devotee a long time, and they go to it. It means that they have not advanced very much. Although they've been a devotee a long time, they have not made much progress. Maybe they're not doing very good sadhana. They're not chanting very well, or they're not really progressing in Krishna consciousness.
那有时候你修习很长时间的奉献者也去参与了这样的项目呢，也去参加了这样项目，这意味着就是他们没有取得长足的进步。虽然他们做奉献者也很长时间，但是他们并没有取得很大的进步。他们的sadhana规范修行不是很好，他们没有很好的念诵，没有在 Krishna 知觉当中取得很好的进步。
And that's why they're attracted to do these kind of things.
正因为这个原因呢，所以他们就被这样的项目所吸引了。
But that kind of program is not going to be eternal. It's a temporary activity. It's just, for some time they have an interest in that. Then after some time they will lose their interest.
但是这样的活动，这样的项目呢，它不是永恒的，它是短暂的活动，它只会持续一段时间。这些奉献者呢会被这个或那个所吸引，但是过一段时间他们就失去兴趣了。
So you should not be disturbed by them doing these kind of things. You just understand that they're not very fixed in Krishna consciousness.
所以也不应该受到他们的打扰。You mean this？这意味着他们做这件事不应该被他们打扰，这意味着他们没有稳稳的处在 Krishna 知觉当中。
You have to understand their spiritual position, that they're not very advanced, and that's why they're interested in these things.
你要明白呢，他们的灵性地位，他们并不是特别进步，所以他们对这些感兴趣。
So sometimes people, they have to go to these things, they want to go and try it, they try it for some time and then they come back to Krishna consciousness.
有时候呢，人们会去尝试，然后过一段时间呢，他们又会再次回到 Krishna 知觉当中。
So you just have to be patient and tolerant.
所以你们需要耐心，需要容忍。
And you show a good example yourself. Don't bother about it. Don't get involved with it at all.
你们自己就是做出表率，根本就不去，也不要卷入到这些项目。
From time to time, there are always some things, some maya will come along to distract us away from Krishna consciousness.
有的时候就时不时的呢，玛雅就会过来吸引我们，然后把我们就是从 Krishna 这个身边的吸引走。
So this is another maya.
这是另外一种玛雅。
So don't be attracted. Don't get distracted. Keep up your Krishna consciousness and keep chanting.
所以不要受到这样的项目的吸引，不要被它所拉跑。只要继续保持 Krishna 知觉，继续念诵。
Okay.
OK。好，第二个问题。Prabhu 顶拜 Maharaj 和所有奉献者，初级奉献者也比非人格主义者进步吗？冒犯奉献者是非人格倾向吗？Panchatattva Prabhu pay obeisance to Maharaj, you and all devotees. He asked, is neophyte devotees also
Haribol? Gurumani?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you're there, okay.
Yeah.
I could not hear you.
Hare Krishna, how about now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So
near
Panchatavat,
Yeah, go ahead.
the next question is, since you mentioned in your lecture that those new devotees, they are even more advanced than impersonalists. Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
Okay.
It can be true.
Sure.
It may not be true in every case, but it can be true. May not be true in every case, but it's certainly possible. Haribo, Gurumani?
这句话是对的，但并不是每一位出离奉献都比非人格主义者进步。
So someone's a new devotee, they have to be very strict and serious in their Krishna consciousness.
新奉献者他们对待自己的 Krishna 知觉一定要非常的严格，非常的认真。
They strictly follow the principles and they chant regularly.
他们要严格的遵守原则、规范原则，有规律的念诵。
Then they're more advanced than these Mayavadi sannyasis.
只有这样，在这种情况之下，在他们严格遵守规范原则和有规律念诵的前提之下，才可以说他们比那些非人格主义者才更进步。
But if the new devotee has still got some desire for sense gratification, if he's still enjoying his senses, then he's not so advanced.
但是倘若一个新奉献者仍然想要去满足他的感官享乐的话，他就不是那么进步，他就不能说他比一个非人格主义者更进步。
Of course, the impersonalists, they're offenders to Krishna because if they deny the personal form of Krishna, that's an offense.
当然，非人格主义者他们是冒犯者，因为他们是 Krishna 的冒犯者，因为他们否认 Krishna 有人格的形象。
And for the impersonalists, their goal is just to come to the level of Brahman.
非人格主义者的目标就是上升到 Brahman 的层面、梵的层面。
But they cannot stay on the level of Brahman. They'll come back to the material world.
但是他们却无法停留在 Brahman 梵的层面上，他们会再次堕落到物质世界。
But the devotee who's doing devotional service, he's going to go back to Godhead. He will never come back to the material world.
然而，
Gurumani, Haribo.
Gurumani. Gurumani?
Next, yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
The line is very unstable. We're not hearing you.
Oh, I'll open the door. Hare Krishna. How about now?
Well, I meant your voice is breaking. When you were speaking, we would hear, and then we wouldn't hear.
Oh, no, I will. Okay. I'll change it into another cell phone.
Anyway, let's keep trying. Go ahead, next question.
Okay. Okay. The next part is Panchattva Prabhu is asking whether those alien.
Hare Krishna, Gurmani Mataji，你那里断续的厉害呀、Hare Krishna，Gurmaharaj，
Haribol.
Gurmani Mataji 下线了，我们稍等一下。
好。
Haribol，
罗曼尼上来了，罗曼尼上来了。
看到。您开麦。
Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
OK。
Yeah. But Sati, maybe you should read the. 你应该给我读，因为我现在没有了这些问题。换了手机。
Amy， 你可以吗？
好的，从是从 Yuna 开始是吧？
对。
不是下一个是Panchattva Prabhu的第二个。
OK， 我来读第二个问题：冒犯奉献者是非人格倾向吗
Okay. So Panchattva Prabhu asked if we offend devotees, is that we also have the tendency of impersonalism?
No, not necessarily.
不一定。
If we offend devotees, it just means that we don't have the proper culture, we don't have the proper regard for devotees.
如果冒犯奉献者，这意味着，我们没有文化，缺乏教养，也缺乏对奉献者的尊重。
Maybe we have some personal dealings with devotees, and because of some personality problems, there's some conflicts, and we offend a devotee.
在我们跟奉献者的个人交往当中，也许我们的人品有问题，或者是我们跟奉献者产生了冲突。
Sometimes we have some prejudices to certain people and causes offences.
有时候我们对某些人拥有偏见，所以就冒犯了对方。
Okay, 下一个问题。
下一个问题是 Yuna， 他问的是 Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj and the devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Often devotees are disgusted with the material world, but have not yet acquired a taste for the spiritual world. That is, they have no positive emotions at all, neither from the material world nor from Krishna consciousness. Is this a normal condition? Hare Krishna.
我来翻译一下。于娜问有的奉献者，他们厌恶物质世界，但是没有发展出对灵性世界的品味。他们是不是意味着他们无论是在物质世界还是在 Krishna 世界当中，都没有培养出正确的情感？
Well, it may be usual for some devotees, and maybe for like that for some people. It's not like that for everyone.
对某些人来说呢，可能就是这是正常的，但不是人人都这样。
Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita 4 reasons why people come to Krishna consciousness.
主 Krishna 在国家梵歌当中描述了有4类人进入到 Krishna 知觉当中。
Somebody comes in distress, so like that what you're talking about, they're disgusted with the material world, they have a lot of distress, so they come to Krishna consciousness.
其中一类人就是苦恼者。您的问题中提到他们在物质世界，他们厌恶物质世界，他们来到 Krishna 知觉当中，就属于这一类人。
And somebody else comes with material desire. They want to get wealth or they want to get some power. They come to Krishna.
还有一些人怀着物质的欲望，他们想获得钱财，获得力量，所以来找 Krishna。
And other people are curious and someone else comes in search of knowledge.
还有好奇好问者，以及寻求知识者。
So the important point to understand is that whatever reason people come to Krishna consciousness is that, first of all, that they're all pious, they're all good people because they've come to Krishna.
所以不管是由于哪一种原因来到 Krishna 知觉当中，就说明他们是虔诚之士，他们都是好人，所以他们来找 Krishna。
They may not, of course, as you say, they don't have any, they're disgusted with the material world and they don't have any attraction to Krishna, but they want to escape from the material world.
在您的问题当中就说到，他们厌恶了物质世界，但是还没有发展出对 Krishna 的 steam， 所以他们是一种逃避主义者。
So, for some time, they may exist on that level. They want to go out of the material world and they take shelter of Krishna consciousness, but they won't remain in Krishna consciousness until they develop the relationship with Krishna.
他们也许呢会在这种情况之下保留，就是停留一段时间。他们就是离开物质的活动，他们发展 Krishna 知觉，但他们不会让自己留在 Krishna 知觉当中，除非他们发展出与 Krishna 的关系。
In the beginning, they come into Krishna consciousness and they just want to be alone or be away from everything, but they won't stay in Krishna consciousness like that. They have to cultivate their relationship with Krishna.
一开始的时候呢，他们就想一个人待在 Krishna 知觉当中，就想远离一切。他们就想 以这种状态就是留在Krishna 直觉当中，但是呢，他们必须要发展出跟Krishna 的关系。
So this is an important point to understand, that unless we develop our relationship with Krishna, or it may not be directly with Krishna, we may have a relationship with Krishna's devotees. We need something to keep us in Krishna consciousness.
所以不一定是就是非得跟 Krishna 发展出关系，直接发展关系，也可以是与 Krishna 的奉献者发展出建立一种关系。但是不管怎么说，他们至少需要一种关系，才让他们保持在 Krishna 直觉当中。
Okay? Yes? 下一个问题。
好，下一个是 A41，他说顶拜古鲁翻译和所有奉献者，在圣地居住在小屋的长胡子的瑜伽师，都是非人格托钵僧吗？他们目标是什么？感恩。
So obeisance to Guru and all devotees. In the holy Dham, there are some yogi who have long beards and they live in a small hut. Are they impersonal sannyasi? What's their goal? What's their goal?
Well, I don't know if they're impersonalists. You have to talk to them and find out. You have to ask them. They may be devotees, they may not be devotees. They may be impersonalists.
姑姑说他也不知道，你必须得跟他交谈，然后从交谈当中呢，就发现他是不是，他是怎么回事，他们的目标是什么。他们也可能是奉献，也可能不是奉献者。
You cannot judge just by the fact that they have a beard and they live in a little hut. That is not how you can tell who's a devotee and who's not a devotee.
你不能就是通过他们长着长胡子，然后居住在茅屋里来评判他们到底是奉献者还是非人格的托钵僧。
We don't just look only at the external features. We have to see what's going on in their mind and in their heart.
不能通过他们的外在特征，要看他们深入到他们的心意和内心。
下一个问题。
下一个问题是 Sruti Rupa Didi Sruti Rupa 他说顶拜古鲁和老师们有几个问题需要古鲁的指导。第一个问题，我目前感觉一口气做不了完整的 RT， 请问古鲁能不能把流程分几个步骤，先从自己能做的简单步骤开始。古鲁玛尼，你先翻译这个。
Yes. So Shruti Rupa Devadasi had several questions. The first one is that for the time being, I cannot finish the whole procedure of RT. Can I break it into several parts and begin from the very simple one?
Yes? You can do that?
可以这样做。
You don't need to do a full RT. The main thing you should do is chanting 16 rounds.
最主要的就是您要念诵16圈儿。
RTs, you can, according to your convenience, according to how much time you have, you can do.
那做 RT 的关于这个问题呢，是根据您的时间，是否允许，以及根据您的条件是不是方便做 RT。
There are no rules about performing RT in your home. You can do that as you like.
在自己家里头做 RT 没有硬性规则，您可以按照您的个人喜好。
So you want to make a short RT, do a short RT? Okay, you offer incense and flower. Okay, very good.
您想做个短 arti 就可以供奉香花，这也很好。
Okay. Shruti Rupa,下一个问题是什么？
第二个问题是，曾经对我帮助很大的传统文化老师罹患癌症了，而且他不想见任何人。他现在还不是奉献者。通过祈祷，他现在已经听到了 Krishna 音乐，请咕噜祝福我，尽快把 Pasada 和国家饭歌送到他手中吧。对此，咕噜还有别的训示吗？
There is one teacher who teaches traditional culture, Chinese culture, and very unluckily, this teacher has got cancer. This teacher doesn't want to see anybody, and is not a devotee yet. But very fortunately, this teacher has heard Krishna's music, and I hope that this teacher can also have the chance to eat prasadam and got the Bhagavad Gita, get a copy of Bhagavad Gita. Except that, Guru, can you give me some other instruction?
Well, a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult for me to give you some instruction. I don't know enough about the person and your relationship with her. So it's very difficult for me to tell you what to do.
对我来说，这个很难，因为我不了解这个人，也不知道您和他的关系，所以很难说。
But it's very nice that you're thinking about trying to give her Krishna consciousness.
但是您心里总想着给予他Krishna 知觉，这是非常好的。
So you keep thinking and try different things. You give some friendship to the lady. Try to maybe send some flowers there to her.
但是您可以尝试着，也可以就是心里想着他，也可以给予他您的友谊，给他一些送去鲜花。
When, the lady herself, she may not like to have association at this time. She may just like to be alone. But you can try. From what you say, she's not eager to get association. She just wants to be on her own. So difficult. But if somehow you're able to give her the Bhagavad Gita, or if you're able to make some friendship with her, then try to encourage her in Krishna consciousness.
这位女士呢，她现在就想一个人待着，她不想和别人联谊。但您可以试一试，就是在这种情况下就挺难的，因为她自己都不想得到联谊。您可以就是给予她您的友谊，鼓励她发展Krishna知觉。
Okay, 下一个问题。
好，第三个问题，我发现贪学也是一种负担，请咕噜祝福我能够正确理解、记忆、复述和运用国家梵歌吧，特别是能够顺利通过梵文诗节考试啊。
贪学是吧？
就是贪婪，就是贪婪学习。
明白。I found that it's not good to be very lusty to study more and more. So, Guru, can you give me blessing that I can understand, remember it, and utilize it in daily life? And also, can you bless me so that I can pass the Sanskrit verses test?
Well, if you study, if you do the work, then you will pass. If you don't work, if you don't study, you don't learn, then you cannot expect to pass.
如果您认真学习写作业，你就能通过；如果您也不学习也不写作业，那就很难指望就是通过考试。
So you have, if you want to pass the Sanskrit test, you have to practice reciting the verses. You have to say them again and again.
您要是想要通过梵文诗节考试会背的话，就需要反反复复的去背诵。
Now some of our devotees have done very wonderful. They've improved a lot their Sanskrit because they've been studying with the one man, Shama Gopinath. He's been training every day they recite. And I see some of them now, some of our devotees recite very nicely. Gurumani, Haribol?
Gurumani, 你在吗？Gurumani.
Hare Krishna.
Gurumani. Gurumani. Gurumani.萨迪你在吗？可以叫一下咕噜玛尼吗？我这边没他的联系方式。
好了。
Yes.
今天网络为什么这么不好？
对不起大家，对不起。Hare Krishna，yes， 肯定，有一个奉献者叫 Shama Gopinath， 他每天都在网上教大家读背诵梵文诗节，他就是这个他从事了很好的服务。
And the devotees are chanting very nicely now.
所以很多奉献者们就在背诵梵文诗节方面都取得了长足的进步。
So, when you want to study something, you have to make the effort. You have to do it properly. If you make the effort, Krishna will help you.
如果您想好好学习，Krishna 就会帮助您。
You cannot just ask for blessings and you don't do any studying. You have to do the work.
您不能一味的只是要求咕噜祝福您，然后自己却不努力。您自己还得努力去写作业，去背诵。
Just like if we want to get purification, it's not just only blessings. You have to follow certain activities to get purification.
就好像你想获得净化的话，不能就是一味的只想要祝福，您还得去从事一些活动，才能够得到净化。
We're not going to get purified if we don't engage in pure activities.
如果不从事纯粹的活动，就不能得到净化。
We have to be pure in eating, in sleeping, in mating, and defending.
必须在吃、睡、交配、防卫 卫方面得到从事净化的吃睡交配防备。
So similarly, you want to study Sanskrit, you want to learn the slokas, you have to put some time into it, you have to make some effort.
同样的道理，您想学会背诵梵文诗节，那就要付出时间和努力。
下一个问题。
第4个问题，有心人发现自己在 Krishna 知觉中始终反反复复，很难保持稳定。表面上已经没有粗大的感官享受，但是心意里感觉 Krishna 知觉并没有让他得到家人或者朋友的尊重，甚至是离亲人们越来越远。请问咕噜，针对非常在意形象和存在感的新人，应该如何快速让自己的灵性知觉稳定起来呢？感恩。
There are some devotees, they are not very fixed in Krishna consciousness. They comes and goes. Apparently, they don't have some gross sense gratification, but in their mind, they cannot get respect from their family members and friends. For these kind of neophytes who are very cared about their outer appearance and their sense of existence, how can this kind of neophytes be very fixed in Krishna consciousness?
Well, anybody who wants to be fixed in Krishna consciousness, they have to follow the process. They have to chant regularly.
任何人想要在 Krishna 知觉当中保持稳定的话，都必须要遵守这个方法，并且念诵他们的圈儿。
And they have to be regularly, they should be following the principles. They have to be careful to follow the principles. We can't change the process. It's the same process for everyone.
他们必须要遵守这些规范原则，这个方法，就是这个法门，这个方法是不能改变的。这个法门，但是人人都得遵守的，不能改变的这个法门。
So, of course, not everybody in the family is going to be a devotee, but you should keep a nice relationship with everyone.
那不可能每一个家庭成员都变成奉献者，但是应当跟家庭成员呢，搞好关系。
In other words, because you're a devotee, the people in the home, they should appreciate you, that you're very nice and you don't argue with anyone and you don't get all angry and greedy and you're not lazy. You do good work.
你成为奉献者，应当得到家人的欣赏，他们觉得您变成了一个好人，也不去争，与世无争，也不会很生气，轻易的发火，然后呢，也不会好吃懒做，而且工作也很努力，很勤奋。
So the important thing, you want to show good qualities, good character, and that way then people will have a nice impression of devotees.
所以呢，您就应当培养优良的品格，要有很好的人品，给别人都留下好印象。
And then you can live together peacefully, happily.
这样呢，就能和家人和平相处，快乐的生活在一起。
下一个问题。
下一个问题是顶拜 Maharaj， 顶拜翻译，顶拜大家，带新人提问。请问，在我们既然是主 Krishna 的碎片部分，为什么不能与主合一呢？ 感恩您的仁慈，哈利 Krishna。
This question is raised by a devotee on behalf of a new devotee. Since we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, why can't we become one with the Supreme Lord?
Well, we can become one in interest, but we cannot just simply give up our individuality. We're eternally individuals, but we become one in interest. Just like in a family, the family have the common interest. They're one family.
你可以就是在这个与至尊主的兴趣方面与至尊主是一致的，但是你永远不能放弃你的个体性，这个个体性是永远无法放弃的。就像在一个家庭当中呢，大家都可以变成一家人。
So that is real oneness, eternal oneness.
所以这是真正的永恒的一致。
We're one with Krishna in quality, but different in quantity. Krishna is like the ocean, and we're like the tiny drop of the ocean.
我们在品质上，是与 Krishna 是一致的，在质上是一致的，但量上也是永远不一致的。Krishna 是大海，我们就是海中的一粒海水。
And of course, you may say, well, the drop becomes one with the ocean, but we say, well, we're not like the drop, actually, we're more like the living entities living in the ocean. Within the ocean, there are many different living entities.
那您可能就说了，那既然是一滴海水，那我就可以跟大海合一了。但实际上，不能，就是并不完全就是像海水当中的一滴海水和大海的关系，我们更像是就是海洋当中的海生物。
Within the ocean, so many living entities are there, and they're all one with the ocean. They're living in the ocean happily, harmoniously.
在汪洋大海当中呢，有无数的生物生活在大海当中，他们都跟大海是一体，他们都快乐的、和谐的生活在大海当中。
So the first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita is that we're all individuals eternally. We existed as an individual in the past, we're individuals now, and we will remain individuals in the future.
佛家梵歌的最初的几个教导之一就是，我们都是永恒的个体，我们过去是个体，现在是个体，将来也仍然是个体。
Just like in the body, there are parts of the body. So the hand is a part of the body.
就像一个躯体，一个躯体当中呢，它有手部，手部就是躯体的一部分。
It's one with the body. At the same time, it's different from the rest of the body. It's a hand. It performs special functions. We have to recognize the difference. That the hand is not a body on its own, but it has its individuality. It has its special functions.
就像手跟整个的躯体来说呢，它是一体的，但是它又有区别的。手有手的功能，你必须得认识到手和整个躯体的区别。手有自己的功能，手自己它并不是一个整体，手只是躯干的一部分，它有它的各手的功能。
And when the hand is disconnected from the body, then it's useless.
一旦手部 就跟整个躯干切断的话，那这个断掉的手臂就没用了。
OK， 下一个问题。
好了，咕噜今天没有问题了，就问题环节就到这里了。也谢谢大家把时间控制在2小时之内，感恩。
OK， 我们感谢 Guru Mani 给我们翻译，我们感谢 Amy 主持，感谢所有的奉献者聆听，祝福你们生活快乐，万事如意，团交顺利。Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki,
Jai
Hare Krishna。
Hare Krishna。百坤的知音服务员聆听，各位尊敬的外士那奉献者，我非常感谢圣 Bhakti Vedanta Narasimha Swami Maharaj 给我们带来的精彩的早课，感谢 Amy 的主持，感谢 Sati 的主持，感谢所有奉献者的聆听，明白所有的奉献者，祝大家在 Krishna 之节当中度过一个愉快的周二。Hare Krishna。
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai